Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. We are from group BA246C, and today we would like to present for our research project that entitled Factor of Financial Literacy and Awareness of Investment Scams Among the Students in University Technology Mara Kota Baru. So here we go.
This is a table of content for this presentation. This presentation includes first one, introduction, research methodology, the third one, literature review, fourth, result and discussion, and the last one is conclusion.
Chapter 1, Background of Study. Scam has become common crime that normally this case cannot be settled by the police even we make report to them. This research mainly to investigate the level of the financial literacy and the awareness of investment scam among students in UiTM Kota Baru. This study was to give outcome or prove whether the budgeting skill and financial goal will significantly affect the awareness of the investment scam or not. This due to the financial literacy was the one of the important knowledge that every student should master, which since scam crime were very famous at the moment. Problem statement. Lack of the awareness of the investment scam will increase the ability or risk to get scammed from the certain investment. This research can be relating to the student in UiTM Kota Baru since they were capable of get involved or more likely addicted to this activity. The younger generation in society, particularly students, are vulnerable to the danger of unlawful investment scheme. The audacity of become the fraud or scam victim will depend on the level of the understanding or skill on how they manage their financial activities. Research objective. First, to examine the level of awareness of investment scam among student UiTM Kota Baru. Second, to examine the level of student skill in budgeting their financial among student in UiTM Kota Baru. Third, to examine the level of financial goal among student in UiTM Kota Baru. Fourth is to justify whether awareness of investment scam have significant influence on skill in budgeting their financial among student UiTM Kota Baru. And lastly, to justify whether awareness of investment scam have significant influence toward financial goals among student UiTM Kota Baru. Research question. First, what is the level awareness of investment among student in UiTM Kota Baru? Second, what is the level of student skill in budgeting their financial among student in UiTM Kota Baru? Third is, what is the level of financial goal among student in UiTM Kota Baru? Fourth is, what is the relationship between awareness of investment scam and student skill in budgeting their financial among student UiTM Kota Baru? And lastly is, what is the relationship between awareness of investment scam and their financial goal among student UiTM Kota Baru? Significance of study to the student. This study will be carried out in order to determine the factor literacy and level of awareness of investment scam among university students in UiTM Kota Baru. To the researcher, the study aim to help the researcher to acknowledge the level of students who are in risk to become a victim of the investment scam among students in UiTM Kota Baru and how they could manage their financial wealth to avoid this happen. To the organization, the study will give the solution of finding to the management of UiTM Kota Baru to prevent or help students to avoid from any fraud or scam. Scope of study. The scope of the study will be based on the respondents, which were the students in UiTM Kota Baru. The students were varying from two faculty in UiTM Kota Baru, which were from Faculty of Business and Management, Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Science.
So now we proceed with the chapter 2, which is literature review. This chapter describes prior studies on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. These studies research articles were obtained from 2003 to 2021. The current study was able to obtain a research structure that will drive our research based on the research literature. This research will explore on the financial literacy and awareness of investment scams among students in UiTM Kota Baru, Kelantan. The variable consists of two, which is dependent variable DV and independent variable IV. The variable for dependent variable of this research consists of only one, which is awareness of investment scams, while independent variable consists of two variables, which is budgeting skills and financial goals. So let me explain a little bit about all these variables. The awareness of investment scams. Bureau stated stated that investment scams are deceptive practice that entice investors to invest in special projects such as companies, investment funds, or real estate developments that do not really exist. These investment schemes guarantee a high return with little or no risk. Awareness of investment scams was linked to financial information knowledge, which allow a person to make a better financial decision. According to Bushan on year 2014, he stated that an individual's level of financial literacy influenced their awareness and investment preference towards financial products. Next variable is budgeting skills. The process of deciding how we will spend our money was known as budgeting, and a budget was the name given to this spending plan. According to SIMA on year 2007, budgets were developed in the year of 1920s to assist manager in controlling expenditure and cash flows. Making budgeting and spending plan allows us to know whether we will have enough money to the things we need. If we cannot manage properly our budget, it might cause a problem because many people were unaware about their spending. They spend more than they earn and were gradually sinking deeper into debt with each passing year. So with this budgeting, people were able to manage their financial wisely. Being financially illiterate gives an individuals an advantage when it comes to good financial planning and budgeting, which was especially important for students in higher education institutions. Usually, students who were familiar with budgeting were more likely to plan a budget. A study showed that majority of students do not have a budgeting plan and have poor financial discipline. According to Aw and Mon, the majority of a student's debt was a study loan like pinjaman PTPTN and followed by other necessary living expenses while studying. The third variable is financial goals. According to Arculeta et al. And Hasibuan et al., everyone has different definition of what it means to be in happy life. Some may argue that health is wealth, while others may consider free from debt are become their goals. However, others consider that gaining financial pleasure was much more important than fulfilling other needs. Financial goals also give the roadmap or direction that leads to the financial destination that an individual wishes to reach. Many factors that can influence some individuals' personal financial goals such as earnings, expenditure, and savings. Every people has their own goal that they want to reach, especially in financial, which is stated by Arpana and Gajendra. As a result, they go to any length to become the person the brokers advertise, which will cover their living expenses and a good lifestyle. So now we move to the conceptual framework. This study's conceptual framework was based on survey of the literature, and it was focused with the link between budgeting skills and financial goals, as well as the level of awareness of investment scams among university students. As the figure shown here, it is assumed that budgeting and financial goals influence awareness of investment scams among students in UiTM Kota Bharu, Kelantan.
Next is hypothesis development. There is 4 hypotheses formulated based on this study. HO1, there is a significant relationship between budgeting and awareness of investment scams. HA1, there is no significant relationship between budgeting and awareness of investment scams. HO2, there is a significant relationship between financial goals and awareness of investment scams. And the last one is HA2, there is no significant relationship between financial goals and awareness of investment scams.
Let's move to the chapter 3. This chapter is examine a few research methods, and the discussion will emphasize the accuracy of data. In terms of research design, the causal research methodology was employed in this study. The settings of flowworks were indicated in this research because it will perform online using the Google Form platform. In order to analyze the data of the study, 2 types of analysis were applied. This study will be carried out by spreading the link of the questionnaire to UiTM Kota Bharu students using the WhatsApp application. The data was collected starting from the 8th December 2021 until 14th December 2021. Next, for the target population, the students from two faculties at UiTM Kota Baru are included in this study, which are from the Faculty of Business Administration and the Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Science. For the sampling technique, this study was carried out using a non-probability sampling technique in which data was collected from the UiTM Kota Baru students who were readily accessible to provide the information. The questionnaire for this study was distributed to the numerous WhatsApp groups, and it was proven that ODL makes it difficult for the researchers to collect the sample frame for this study. The sample size of this study was set at 100 students from UiTM Kota Baru students. As a consequence, no specific amount of respondents from each faculty were required to complete the questionnaire. Next, for the unit of analysis was an individual student at UiTM Kota Baru. This study examined the data obtained from each individual and considered each honest answer as an independent data source. Move to the term of data collection procedure. The research was relied on primary data, and the students at UiTM Kota Baru were provided for the data for this research. Besides, for the measurement variables, the questionnaire was modified from a prior study called as Exploratory Factor Analysis of Financial Literacy and Investment Scam Awareness. This questionnaire was divided into 4 sections, which is Section A is Demographic Profile, Section B is Student Awareness of Investment Scams, Section C is Budgeting Skills, and the last section is Section D, Financial Goals among Students. All the questions were required to answer by all respondents, and all of this section used 5-point Likert scale to measure the awareness of investment scams among the student, which the scale will be ranging from the strongly disagree to strongly agree. Lastly, for the chapter 3 is plan for data analysis. To reveal the outcome of this research, we will utilize the hypothesis testing to analyze the data received from the questionnaire. This study was revealed whether or not there was a significant association between these two variables. Before doing the hypothesis testing, we will assess the data was obtained using the reliability, correlation, and descriptive analysis. The first one is reliability analysis. The analysis value will be between 0 and 1. The closest number to 1 indicates that the measurement is accurate. Secondly is correlation analysis. The total number of respondents were used to calculate the correlation between these two variables. As a result, we will utilize the Pearson correlation coefficient in the SPSS program to determine the direction of these two variables. Next is descriptive analysis. A higher score will show a higher level of awareness, budgeting skills, and financial goals among the students of Faculty Business Administration and Faculty of Computer and Science Mathematical in UiTM Kota Baru. The level of awareness of investment scams was calculated using the scores 0 to 75 and will be divided into 3 addiction ranges, namely 0 to 25 is low, 26 to 50 is moderate, and the last one is 51 to 75 is high. For the level of budgeting skills was calculated using the score range 0 to 40 and were divided into the 4 ranges, namely 01 to 10 is low, 11 to 20 moderate, 21 to 30 is high, and 31 to 40 is very high. The level of financial goals was calculated using the scores 0 to 5 were divided into 4 ranges, namely 0 to 5 is low, 6 to 10 is moderate, 11 to 15 is high, and the last one is 16 to 20 is very high.
Next, for result and discussion of the research. This chapter examines the outcome of the data analysis performed to meet the study objective. A total of 100 respondents from undergraduate students were collected. Statistical package for social science, which is SPSS, were used to analyze the data. The analysis of the collected data were done through 5 techniques, which is reliability analysis, descriptive analysis, correlation analysis, regression analysis, and normality. For survey written rate, approximately 100 students from the Faculty of Business Management and Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Science at UiTM Kelantan, Campus Kota Baru were received and useful for data analysis. The distribution and collecting of questionnaire took around 7 days, starting on 8 December 2021 and ending on 14 December 2021. This table shows the demographic profile of respondents in the questionnaire. For age category, 61% of the respondents were in age category of 21 to 33 years old. 27 of the respondents fall into the age category 24 to 26 years old, while 10% of the respondents were in age category 18 to 20 years old. And for age 27 to 30 and above, both categories are 1%. In terms of gender, 59 out of 100 respondents were female, while another 43 were male. As for faculty enrolled by the respondents, the percentage of respondents from Faculty of Business Management was 57%, while for Faculty Computer and Mathematical Science was 43%. Lastly, the frequency of respondents from semester 1 until semester 6. The respondents from semester 5 have the highest frequency with 45% students, and respondents from semester 1 recorded the lowest with 3% number of respondents. For data normality, we interpret the skewness and kurtosis value of the variable that have been gathered from the SPSS. For awareness of investment scheme, the skewness value of the variable shows value of 0.480, while the kurtosis shows a value of 1.297. Besides that, the value of skewness for budgeting skill show a negative sign, which was negative 0.284, while the kurtosis value shows a positive value of 0.350. For financial goals, the value of the skewness was negative 0.262, while the kurtosis was in positive value of 0.143. The outcome of the skewness and kurtosis value for all variables of the research explained that the assumption of normality was achieved for all variables because all the values are in range between greater than positive 1 or lower than negative 2. This table interprets the result of reliability Cronbach alpha. A reliability analysis was carried out on the awareness of investment scheme that comprised 5 items, budgeting 8 items, and financial goal 4 items. Cronbach alpha showed the questionnaire for awareness of investment scheme was 0.848, while budgeting scale has shown the number of 0.896. The financial goal shows the number of 0.844. The closer the result to 1, the more reliable the test. Therefore, from the result of Cronbach alpha, it has shown that all the questionnaire distributed were valid and good. All items appear to be worthy of retention, hence no removal of items should be considered. Next, we will take a look at the correlation relationship between the independent variable. Generally, the Pearson correlation between independent variables shows a strong positive relationship between each of them, as most of the independent variable Pearson correlation are above 0.5. The Pearson correlation between budgeting skills and financial goals are 0.661. This shows that the correlation between this independent variable is strong and positive. Next, we will interpret the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. Overall, it shows that the relationship between this variable was strong correlation as the figures between the independent variables and dependent variables are above 0.5, and it was positive and indicate that there was a linear relationship between those two variables. First and foremost, for the budgeting skills and awareness of investment scheme, the Pearson correlation between those two variables was 0.628 and indicate that linear relationship was exist between this variable. Besides that, for the financial goals and awareness of investment scheme, the Pearson correlation between these two variables is 0.542 and also signify that there is a linear relationship between these variables. Therefore, an increase in student budgeting skills and financial goals may increase the awareness of investment scheme among students from Faculty of Business Management and Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Science in UiTM Kota Baru. Now we will take a look at descriptive analysis. In calculating the descriptive analysis, mean will be used to find out the level of awareness of investment scheme, level of budgeting, and level of financial goals. This is the level of range that be used for each variable, which is 1.1 to 2.0 is low, 2.1 until 3.0 is moderate, 3.1 until 4.0 is high, and 4.5 until 5.0 is very high. According to the table presented, the mean value that collected from the data analysis determine the level of awareness of investment scheme among Faculty of Business Management and Faculty Computer and Mathematical Science of UiTM Kota Baru students. From the value of mean, which is 3.80 0.040, this value was ranged in the measurement level of height. Next, the mean value for level of budgeting skill was 3.77. This value was ranged in measurement of height level. Lastly is mean value for the level of financial goals was 3.94. This value range of measurement is height level. Now we move to multiple linear regression analysis. There were 3 parts in multiple linear regression, which were summary of regression analysis for the research model, ANOVA, and the coefficient. This can help us to decide whether to reject or accept the null hypothesis. Firstly is summary for regression analysis for the research model. Based on the value of R from the table above, it shows that the R value was 0.651. This shows a good level of prediction. The R square of this research model was 0.423. This means that 42.3% of awareness of investment scam can be explained by financial goals and budgeting skills, while remaining 57.7% of awareness of investment scam cannot be explained by financial goals and budgeting skills. Furthermore, let's analyze the ANOVA table. The significant value for this research model was 0.000. This means that the theoretical framework has a significant model since the significant value was less than 0.05 and the F statistic was huge, which is 35.606. Finally, we interpret the coefficient analysis. Based on this analysis, the independent variables, which were budgeting skills, is lower than 0.05 and financial goals P 0.031 lower than 0.05 were found to be significant in describing the awareness of investment scam. The largest beta coefficient was found in budgeting skills, which is beta equal to 0.480. This means that budgeting skills has higher impact toward the awareness of investment scam. Thus, the null hypothesis can be rejected.
For discussion of the findings, research question 1 is what is the level of awareness of investment scams among students in UiTM Kota Baru? Other research have indicated that the younger generation in society, particularly students, are vulnerable to the dangers of illicit investment schemes. According to the data in the table above, the level of awareness of investment scam among students in UiTM Kota Baru was high and positive AZMAN was 3.8. Research question 2. What is the level of student skill in budgeting their financial among students in UiTM Kota Baru? According to Lusardi, students must guarantee that their financial knowledge was appropriate and that their financial attitude was favorable. According to the table above, the level of students budgeting and financial goal of the student in UiTM Kota Baru is high and good with a mean value of 3.77. Research question 3. What is the level of financial goals among students in UiTM Kota Baru? According to the table above, the level of financial goals among students in UiTM Kota Baru is strong and positive with a mean value of 3.94. This demonstrates that students at UiTM Kota Baru are really concerned about their financial goals in order to cope with the degree of knowledge about investment scams. Research question 4. What is the relationship between awareness of investment scams and student skill in budgeting their financial among students in UiTM Kota Baru? According to the table, budgeting skills have a substantial association to the investment scam awareness. Budgeting skills are below the alpha value, indicating that the variables have a significant and positive link with investment scam awareness. The hypothesis of HO1, which state that budgeting skills impact investment scam awareness among students in UiTM Kota Baru, were accepted. Based on the related past research, people must ensure that their financial knowledge is sufficient and that their financial attitudes are favorable. Research question 5. What is the relationship between awareness of investment scams and their financial goals among students in UiTM Kota Baru? According to the table, financial skills have a substantial association to investment scam knowledge among UiTM Kota Baru students. The study demonstrates that financial goals were below the alpha value, indicating that the variable have a significant and positive link with investment scam awareness. Despite this, the hypothesis of HO2, which state that financial goals impact investment scam awareness among students in UiTM Kota Baru, were accepted. In summary, for the research question of the level of awareness investment scams, level of budgeting and level of financial goals among students in UiTM Kota Baru, it shows a positive outcome from the descriptive analysis because the level of the variables show a high level of measurement. Furthermore, the result for the hypothesis testing for the hypothesis statement of relationship between the level of awareness of investment scams and budgeting skills was significant and positive. The hypothesis statement of relationship between the level of awareness of investment scams and financial goals among students in UiTM Kota Baru also show a significant and positive relationship. For the conclusion, the purpose of this study was to measure the relationship between budgeting skill and financial goals toward awareness of investment scams and the level of financial literacy and level of awareness of investment scams among students at UiTM Kota Baru. To pursue this study, 3 variables were determined to be utilized as independent and dependent variables, which are investment scam awareness, budgeting, and financial goals. This indicates the level of financial literacy and awareness of investment scams among students in UiTM Kota Baru is high. Owing to the appealing prospect of multiplying their asset with a large return in a limited period, students may be influenced to participate in fraudulent investment schemes due to a lack of education and awareness of investment scam. This responsibility should be managed by all the students' organization in every university or colleges. For instance, lecturers should always remind and also spread this knowledge and latest news of the financial system to all the students. Then, Bank Negara Malaysia and financial institution like introduced the new category of EMI in their organization to improve all of the security for the privacy of the client. Lastly, student organization can also help some activity for them to add some pocket money for students that are not related with any loans and also trade financially. For instance, they can promote e-commerce business to the students that are really interested to earn some income for them. For future research, it is advised the researchers increase their demographic breadth by collaborating with other universities and states. Future study should be expanded by interviewing students who have been victims of investment scams. A high population size broadens the range of potential data and can aid the information of more accurate figures of the result. Then, in this study, it was discovered that 3 variables were utilized by researchers. However, according to the time constraints, other variables were not explored in this study. For future research, another variable might be included in a future study to reinforce the research findings. For example, the researcher may include the government involvement as a variable. Therefore, non-probability sampling was adopted in this study. It is recommended that future research study employ probability sampling or sample random sampling rather than non-probability sampling, since it may be more focused on a certain target group and produce more accurate result.
So, that's the end of our presentation.